the market's melting down, you need to search for stocks that can triumph over the gravitational pull of the averages. Today, Thermo Fisher Scientific pulled it off. I like to describe this company as an arms dealer to the life sciences industry, and this whole group had an extended post-COVID hangover because so many biopharma outfits ordered more equipment than they needed during the pandemic. At the beginning of the year, though, I told you that the life science stocks were ready to make a comeback. And today, Thermo Fisher delivered, reporting a strong revenue beat with a 25-cent earnings beat off a $5.12 basis. On top of that, management raised their full-year forecast. If you believe Wall Street's consensus estimates, this should be the last quarter of revenue shrinkage before a major pickup in the second half. If that's the case, then I bet the stock has plenty more room to run, and I'm saying that even after it gained more than 4% today. So let's go straight to the source with Marc Casper. He's the chairman, president, and CEO of Thermo Fisher Scientific. To learn more about the quarter and what comes next, Mr. Casper, welcome back to Mad Money.
Jim, it's great to be back with you, and thanks so much for having me.
Well, Marc, it is great to see you, and it looks like it's so hard for people to understand. They'll see some minus signs, they'll see some things that don't look like Thermo Fisher, but the fact is, because of COVID, there was a distortion, and now all of your end markets seem to be turning, which gives you the same old kind of long-term roadmap that we're always used to from Thermo Fisher.
Yeah, Jim, it was really encouraging second quarter. Another quarter in a row of playing out as we expected and allowed us to execute well and beat our numbers and ultimately raise our guidance. When I think about our end markets and really where investors were paying attention was, would we see the improvements? And what was great for Thermo Fisher is we sequentially improved our growth in all four of our end markets, and that certainly bodes very well for the second half.
You're also talking about picking up some market share gains. Is that from other companies here, overseas? Where are those gains coming from?
Yeah, when I think about the company's long track record over many years, we've been able to grow about 3 points faster than the market, and that's been consistent in the most robust of times to even the more challenged times. And when I look at this particular quarter, and we clearly had another very strong performance of growth relative to others, you could see it in a few of our key businesses. In our clinical research business, which we acquired 3 years ago, we look at things like authorizations, the new clinical trials that we win, and we had a very strong set of performance. When I look at our bioproduction business, the business that's used to help produce medicines, again, very strong step up in performance. And one of our largest businesses, analytical instruments, having 3% growth in the quarter, clearly outdoing many of the peers. So very widespread, broad-based, and really great execution by the team, and I couldn't be more proud of the efforts that they're making.
I also know Thermo Fisher is an outfit that always comes up with some incredible new products. We call them high-impact innovation. What do you have for us this quarter?
Yeah, so actually Q2 was a very strong quarter. I'll really focus in on our mass spectrometry products. That's our highest-end instrumentation used to advance life sciences research. At the scientific conference that happens each June, we launched in this year the Thermo Scientific Stellar mass spectrometer used for protein research to help identify the right biomarkers to ensure the efficacy of a medicine. And the excitement from our customer base has been hugely positive and bodes well for our growth going forward.
Are we seeing enough companies, biotech companies, come public that will have enough money to be able to buy the equipment that they need, equipment from you that they need to be able to grow?
Yeah, so Jim, when I think about the trajectory in biotech in terms of funding, right, you saw in the fourth quarter M&A activity return with larger companies buying some of the smaller companies. In the first quarter, you saw the venture capital money started to really flow back into biotech. A reasonable quarter again in the second quarter. In fact, I think about funding. In the first half, I think we had as much funding go into biotech as all of last year, just in the first half. And I think that bodes well for the IPO window, although you're much smarter than I to know when that window's really going to open.
I just was glad.
But clearly
it's good. It's good. Now, let me ask you about another thing that's different for you, although we do have Boston Scientific, but you're the other company I saw that had good numbers in China. A lot of people are waiting for China's stimulus. You obviously don't need to wait for stimulus. You're getting the orders right now.
Yeah, so when I look at China, while the economic environment is still challenging, the government has announced stimulus programs, which should affect us late this year and certainly into 2025 in a very positive light. The team did a good job. We were able to deliver about 5% growth in China against certainly above the expectations of our external investors. And I'm proud of the team's efforts to really serve the customers well. Really strong demand for our instruments business, particularly in China.
Okay, now I was really pleasantly surprised to see the balance sheet optionality. You have $7.25 billion in cash. That means what, for buybacks, or if there's something out there to buy, you'll be able to snap it up.
Yeah, so when I think about our capital deployment approach, it's been a proven one that's created a lot of shareholder value. We have a balance of return of capital as well as M&A. This year, we've already returned about $3 billion in buybacks in the first quarter. We just closed in July a $3 billion acquisition of Olink, a very exciting company that's adding to our proteomics research offering, one that's a high-growth business. And we have a strong balance sheet that allows us to continue to find opportunities to add to our portfolio and create even more value for our shareholders. And in an environment like the one we're in now, Thermo Fisher is really poised to be able to capitalize on those opportunities.
I totally agree. It's really just the second great quarter, and it's obviously Thermo Fisher's no longer clouded by all the great work you did, frankly, when COVID was raging. And that was great work, and you had to do it because it's who you are and who your company is. But now I got what I remember as Thermo Fisher, which is just beat and raise, and do all the right things. And I thank you so much to Marc Casper, Chairman, President, and CEO of Thermo Fisher Scientific. Marc, this is a really clean quarter. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
Of course. Mad Money's back every break.